The trouble didn't erupt with thunder or chaos. It began with an eerie, suffocating silence. A silence so unnatural that it made Rowan Maddox, the hardened president of the Iron Reapers Motorcycle Club, freeze mid-step as his phone buzzed on the diner counter. Rowan's 16-year-old daughter, Arya, who never went more than an hour without sending him a message, had vanished. Her backpack had been discovered thrown beside an alley, and security footage revealed a man dragging her into a van. Rowan knew that face instantly. And he knew he would never forget it. Standing beneath the harsh noon light streaming through the diner's windows, Rowan felt something inside him break, not in anger, but in pure, soul-gripping fear. The kind only a father can understand. Before we continue, if you believe in compassion, redemption, and standing up for what's right, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Stories of Kindness. Your support keeps these stories alive. Rowan Maddox was no ordinary dad. He led the Iron Reapers, feared on the open road, yet deeply respected for safeguarding the vulnerable in their town. Beneath the tattoos and the weathered leather vest, beat a heart softened by one person, Arya. She was the bright thread of hope woven into his rough life. A girl who adored photography, rescued stray dogs, and loved riding behind her father during sunrise. She made him gentler. She gave him purpose. And now, she was gone. Within an hour. The kidnapper had a name. Kieran Vale, a small-time drug dealer with a dangerous temper. Rowan had personally kicked him out of Reaper territory for selling to minors. Rowan's warning was clear: never come back. But revenge finds its own path. Kieran chose the cruelest way to strike back. He stole Arya in broad daylight. As Rowan and his crew approached the abandoned industrial district, the sun hung high, slicing through the clouds and stretching shadows across cracked concrete. Their boots echoed. Leather creaked. Every step felt heavier than the last. Rowan's heartbeat thundered in his ears, though on the outside he looked like a silent storm waiting to erupt. Guilt pressed on him. He'd spent so much time protecting everyone else that he forgot danger could slip through the cracks closest to home. Memories flooded him as they neared the warehouse. Holding newborn Arya. Teaching her to ride a tiny pink bicycle with cheerful streamers. Hearing her laugh as she said he wasn't nearly as scary as people believed. She was his anchor. His reason to walk away from violence. And now that same violence was being forced back into his hands. Inside the warehouse, golden sunlight streamed through broken windows, cutting through dust like glowing prison bars. Kieran waited in the center, a smirk stretched across his bruised face, though his eyes betrayed his fear. Arya was tied to a wooden chair, her face drained but unafraid. When she saw her father, a spark flickered in her exhausted eyes. That single look nearly dropped Rowan to his knees. He approached Kieran with a slow, controlled fury. The Iron Reapers gathered behind him, forming a wall of unwavering loyalty. Rowan's voice was calm but carried a weight that made Kieran's bravado crumble. He demanded Arya's release. Kieran tried to bargain, trembling as he realized exactly who he had crossed. Arya watched her father advance, his eyes burning with both heartbreak and rage. Sunlight revealed the tears he struggled to contain. Rowan wasn't perfect, his past was scarred and violent, but his love for Arya had never wavered. She suddenly understood that he had always been her protector. Even during the storms of teenage rebellion, Rowan untied her with steady hands, brushing hair from her face as he whispered that she was safe. She collapsed into his arms, trembling, and he held her as relief washed over him like a cleansing tide. The sunlight pouring in made the moment feel sacred. A father reclaiming his child under beams of warm gold. While the Reapers made sure Kieran would never threaten anyone again, Rowan didn't look back. His entire world was in his arms. He guided Arya outside into the warm afternoon. The sun touched her cheeks and she closed her eyes, breathing freedom like it was something new. Kneeling before her, Rowan brushed the dirt from her hands, apologizing through shaky breaths. Arya cupped his cheek and whispered that none of it was his fault. For the first time in years, Rowan let himself feel everything: fear, relief, gratitude because his daughter was alive. Standing beside the row of motorcycles, the world felt strangely still. Arya leaned against her father, and he wrapped an arm around her, clinging to her as if letting go might make her disappear. The Reapers watched quietly, their usual hardness softened. They weren't there out of duty, they came because Rowan was their brother, and Arya was family. The afternoon sun painted their leather vests in warm gold. Rowan helped Arya onto his bike, fastening her helmet with gentle hands. When the engine roared to life, she wrapped her arms around him and rested her head against his back. It felt like home. What the bikers did that day wasn't driven by revenge. It was driven by loyalty, love, and the determination to protect the innocent. They didn't just save a girl. They reminded Rowan that even the strongest men need something worth fighting for. Sometimes the world isn't saved by angels, but by ordinary people who refuse to let darkness take over. If this story moved you, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Stories of Kindness. Your support means the world. Before we end, tell us in the comments. Family is everything.